Hi Year 4, welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. Today we are partitioning pounds and pence in a variety of ways. I just want to take a moment to remind you that the whole is the one with the two lines and two circles attached to it, and the parts are the ones that are only attached to one circle. So regardless of which way around you have that whole, or you have the whole model, the whole is always the one that has two circles attached to it. So we've got the whole here, and we've got one part and then the other part. So if I put this part and this part together, I get this whole. So again, I've got the whole here, and if I split that into parts, I've got 90 and 10. I put those two together and I get the whole, which is 100. Again, the same over here, even though it's on the side, I've got a whole, which is 100, and my two parts, which are 50 and 50. Okay, so just keeping in mind how those look and remembering when you're doing your do it and your twist it to make sure that you see which part is missing, whether it's a part or a whole, so that you know what you're trying to work out. Okay, so before we get started, let's just have a think about, and a recap rather, about what we did yesterday, thinking about what that decimal point represents. So I've got £1.99, and you can see here I've got one whole, which represents my £1, and I've got 99 parts, or 99p, which makes the what's left over. So I've got £1 and 99p. So that decimal point is separating the whole with the parts that are left over. Okay, so that's what this is reminding us of. So we've got, remember here that we've got 100p is equal to £1, which will help us a lot with today's work. So 100p is equal to £1, and we use the decimal point to separate the wholes from the pence. Okay, so if I've got 236 pence and I want to partition this, I'm going to take out the 100p first, because I'm going to take out the pounds. So I've got one lot of 100, and then I've got another lot of 100, and then I have what's left over. So I've got 100p or £1, 100p or £1, and 36p. So I can then put that into these sentences. There's 200 pence, which makes £2. There's 36 pence left over. Altogether, that makes £2 and 36 pence. Okay, so we're putting those two together, partitioning it into pounds and pence. And then when we're writing it down, it's really quite simple, because that decimal point again is partitioning into pounds and pence. So once we've done that in our part whole, we can write it down quite easily. Okay, so have a look at this one. What have we got here? We've got £2, 10 pence, and 5 pence. How might I figure out where the decimal point should go? So I've got my 100 squares to show me what I've got. I've also drawn a part whole model. They're both representing the same thing. You can see here these £1 are representing this 100 pence. This £1 is representing this 100 pence, and then what's left over, my 15p, and I've got 15p here too. So my 215p, there's how many pence, and which makes how many pounds, and how many pence left over. There's 200 pence, which makes £2. There's 15 pence left over. Altogether, that makes £2 and 15 pence. Okay, so I've partitioned again into my pounds and my pence. All right, so we are partitioning into pounds and pence, and this is where we can use our coins or use things, our resources around us to help us. So when you have an amount of money that you need to partition, a good way of working this out is to figure out how much you have altogether, and then first take out the pounds, and then you have the pence that's left over. So this one's quite straightforward. I have £1 here, so I put that over in my pounds. got another pound here, so I put that over with this pound. That's £2 altogether. And then I've got my pence left over, so I've got 50 pence, 2 and 1, so altogether that is 53 pence. So again, I've partitioned into pounds and pence, and now I know how to write that quite easily because I've got £2 and 53 pence. Okay, so each time when we're partitioning, this is all helping us figure out exactly how much money we have. Okay, so again, here we've got an amount of money and we want to partition into pounds and pence. Notice again, it's a little bit different. So we've got a pound note. So we've got our £5 note and a £1 coin. So I know these two are going to go over here because they are pounds already. And then am I going to just take all of these and put them over here? What do I know about these 50 pence pieces? Do they go over on this side or do they go onto this side? Good, okay, so I'm going to put these 50 pence pieces on this side because two 50 pence pieces together make £1. So I've got another whole pound there, and then what I have left over is just the 25 pence. So if I have a look here, I've got 5, 6, 7 pounds and 25 pence. So again, I've partitioned into my pounds and my pence, making sure that every time I have something that adds up to 100, I put that over with my pounds. Okay, now having a think about this one, if I've got 3.06, think about our decimals, what we know about decimals. I've got some deans here to help me. I can obviously partition the pounds. I've taken the pounds out already. That's over here. But do I need 6 of these or do I need 6 of these? How do I know which one I'm looking at here? If we think back to our decimal learning, we know that this column is our hundredths column. So we want to look at the smaller ones. Okay, so we've got our hundredths tiles here. So I need 6 of those, which will make 6 pence. Okay, so we've got 6 pence. Don't get confused with having 60 pence, because that would be having 6 of these, okay, and it would be in the tens column. So do remember, if it's written down, this is still the hundredths column and this is still our tenths column, and we know the difference between them by using our deans. Okay, but how can we maybe partition in a different way? We've been partitioning into pounds and pence, like I've got here. I've got £1 and 5 pence, but does it have to always be partitioned in that way? How might I partition this in a different way? Thinking about what I know about the 100 square, how might I partition this a little bit differently? Let's have a bit of a look what we've done over here. Okay, so you can see what I've done is I've taken my 100 pence or my 100p, my £1, and I've partitioned it into different ways. So I've taken that 100 and I've now got 10 tenths instead, or 10 10p pieces instead. So on this side I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on this side I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've still got 100 all together, but I've put them on different sides. Same with my 5p. I've got my 100, so I've put 1 on this side and 4 on this side. If I add all of it up, so my 71 pence and 34 pence, if I add those up, I still have £1 and 5 pence, but I've just partitioned it in different ways. You can see I can do this in a number of different ways actually, if I just move these over. So now I've got 80 pence on this side and 25 pence on this side. Again, I still have £1, 5 pence. So although I'm partitioning in it different ways, I still end up having the same amount of money. And as you can see, I can keep changing this. So I'm manipulating these deans to make different amounts of money. I've got 62 pence on this side, and I've got 43 pence on this side, but I still have £1.05 altogether. Your do it today is looking at some part whole models. I want you to have a think, make sure you are really careful before you answer your questions. Which is missing, the whole or the part? This is what I pointed out at the beginning of the video. If you've got the whole missing, then how are you going to use the two parts? You need to put them together to work out what it is all together. But if you are missing a part, you either need to take the part away from the whole to find out what's missing, or you might be able to see depending on what the number is and what has come out already. Okay, so do make sure that you're really careful to notice what is actually missing. So what is the question asking you? And then on your twist it, it's asking you to think about what Cameron and Max are saying and to prove your answer using a part whole model. I'm going to put an extension challenge on with today's sheet as well, if you want to take your learning a little bit further. And I hope you enjoy. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow.